Hi everyone, I'm Donna Stellhorn, your practical astrologer, and today we are talking about the new moon. It's on August 22nd. It's at 0 degrees of Virgo, and this new moon makes an inconjunct to Pluto, an inconjunct to Saturn, an inconjunct to Neptune, and a square to Uranus. And so all of that can help you feel inspired, but also very distracted. And so let's talk about a strategy that you can win with this energy. So this new moon forms a yod with Pluto on one side and Saturn and Neptune on the other side. And a yod is a configuration of two inconjuncts with a sextile. And the sextile is the secret sauce for making a yod work. And that is the sextile between Pluto and Saturn and Neptune. And so in very practical terms, what this means is that you're going to want to take something apart and then discard the broken pieces or change something and then put it back together in a new way. So right now, the solution to whatever problem you're trying to solve, whether that is with a decision, a routine, something about your work or a relationship, comes when you disassemble either how you got to this place or the building blocks that you use to say these are absolutes that have to happen to make this happen. When you take all of that apart and you lay it out in front of you, it becomes obvious what part is not working and you have a breakthrough. Now, all of that's pretty straightforward, but there is a problem with this chart, and that is the square to Uranus. And so with this square to the new moon, it's like there's something on the corner of your eye, and it's jumping up and down trying to get your attention. And so there's some sort of distraction. And that because it's a square, that's a fight. A fight is a situation where you could win or you could lose. And the thing that is at stake is your attention. So, but I'm going to tell you how to win with this energy, and that is because Uranus makes a trine to Pluto and a sextile to Saturn and Neptune. So when that little jumping thing starts to distract you, turn and give it your full attention and ask yourself, why is this thing trying to get my attention? What is compelling me to watch this video or listen to this podcast or talk to this person? Or how does this relate to what I am working on at this moment? You see, this new moon could give you vital information on the problem that you're working on, and it could come from some out-of-the-way source and that you would normally call a distraction that actually turns out to be the answer. And if you would like to know more about what's ahead for you in 2025 and 2026, I do readings. There's a link in the description. Okay, Virgo, this is your new moon, and that means that you are starting your new lunar year. That is 12 months long, of course, and it means that over the next 4 weeks, the more new things you do, the more seeds you plant, the bigger your harvest is going to be. And that's what you want to do this month, is try all kinds of new things, meet new people, try new activities. And this new moon is particularly good for you connecting with new friends, new customers, new clients, people who will collaborate with you, people who could mentor you or teach you. So this is a time where you really want to reach out and connect. Now, when it comes to love relationships, specifically new love, Mercury is not making an aspect right now with Saturn. So the best thing to do is to go into these new places, go to the center of the room and see who approaches you. This is not a time for you to be pursuing, but this is a time for you to be seen. And as you are seen, then you can find who comes into your circle, and then you get to meet new people. Now, when it comes to existing love relationships, the energy for relationships in general is so strong that even though there's no aspect between Neptune and Mercury, you can come to an agreement, strengthen your relationship. You can find new things to do together that really make the relationship better. So this is a wonderful time for you to say what you want and try new things and really connect on a deeper level. Now, when it comes to your money, you pull money from Venus, which is making a ton of aspects in this chart, but they're all out of sign aspects. And that means that it's time to think outside the box, to look at ideas that maybe you hadn't considered before, or maybe that you discarded because they weren't that practical or there was some reason. But now's the time to pull all those out again and say, you know what? what if there is a way to do this? And that's really the two key words, what if? And just to play with that and say, what are the possibilities of doing something really different and making that work? And it would be exciting and more interesting, and it would shake things up so that more conventional ideas kind of click into place. Now, when it comes to money from business or from investments, even though Venus is not making an aspect with Mars, Mars is in Libra, which is ruled by Venus, so you have a hidden aspect. And that means that you can make that connection to make more money than usual over this 2-week period. What's required is just to take action, because it's Mars, and Mars is traveling through a money area for you. So take the action, that is, ask for the sale, do the call to action, do the advertising, the marketing. That's what's going to bring you the business. And then when it comes to money derived from career, so that would be a paycheck, the moon's making a semi-sextile to Venus, which means that you can get some of what you're looking for, not all of what you're looking for. And you may want to wait until this energy lines up better, which it will in the future. But if you are in the middle of negotiations now, perhaps you can get a little bit now and then more later. But right now, the energy is that you're getting some of what you want. Okay, in the third section of this video, I have a couple of announcements, and then we're going to continue talking about finding the hidden money in your chart. So we are approaching September, and September this year is eclipse season, and eclipses are what cause people's lives to change. So this year, I'm giving a Zoom class on what this eclipse is all about. And so if you would like to know how it could affect your life and what eclipses mean in general, consider doing this class. This class is also going to be recorded if the time doesn't work out exactly for your schedule. And so there is a link in the description to register for this class. And then I wanted to let you know that the next New Month Wishes class is going to be on September 1st. There is a link to that class, to register for that class, in the description. And then all members of this channel get special access to deep dive astrology videos, feng shui videos, and also they get a playlist of the tutorials that we are doing in the third sections. So if you want to become a member, that join button is right by the subscribe button. So let's continue our discussion about finding the hidden money in your chart. And by the way, there is a video course on this topic. There's a link in the description. So last time we talked about the different money houses. I thought we would shift gears a little bit this time and talk about some of the planets. And specifically, I want to talk about Pluto, Jupiter, and the Sun. And so when Pluto and Jupiter are coming together and they are talking to one another, then you have ambition. When the Sun and Jupiter come together and talk to one another, then you have confidence. And when all three of these come together, you are unstoppable. Now, there are different ways that planets can talk to each other. There can be a communication happening in your natal chart, through your progressions, through transits, or through a derivative chart. But let's just first start with how planets do talk to each other, and that is through aspects. And so think of yourself at, say, a large party, and you can talk to people who are around you. But if you know someone well, you can actually communicate with that person clear across the room because you know each other. So through your gestures or facial expressions, you can get the message across. So that's what an aspect is. That's the two planets. They know each other, and so they are communicating with each other. And that means they can help each other or hinder each other, as the case may be. Now, planets talk to each other through degrees. That is the number with the little circle by it. The little circle means degrees. Now, in a natal chart, I give a 7-degree orb. Some astrologers do more, some astrologers do less. I find that 7 degrees works a lot. It works really, really well. And so that means that if you have a planet at, say, 15 degrees, that every planet in your chart that is between 8 degrees and 22 degrees is talking to that 15-degree planet. Now, they are all making different aspects depending on signs, but we're not going to think about that right now. We're just going to know that they are talking with each other. Now, there's 30 degrees in each sign, and there's 12 signs, and we number these degrees from 0 to 29. So if you had a planet at 0 degrees, it's talking to every planet in your chart that is from 0 to 7 degrees, but also going backwards, it talks to every planet that is from 23 degrees to 29 degrees. That section of planets, those planets are called an out of sign aspect, which I'm sure you've heard me mention on this channel before. And that is still an aspect. It's just a little harder to spot sometimes. So what are you looking for? Well, if Pluto is talking to your Jupiter, you have access to ambition. If Jupiter is talking to your Sun, you have access to confidence. And if Pluto and Jupiter are talking to your Sun, then you can become unstoppable. And for those of you who know some astrology, consider transits with a 1-degree orb, consider progress charts with a 1-degree orb, or consider derivative charts such as return charts with a 7-degree orb. And if you want to know for sure if you have these aspects in your chart, I can send you a PDF of your chart. Just send me a note, there's a link in the description, and add to your message that you want to know about Pluto and Jupiter. And that's it. I hope you enjoyed this video. By the way, I do a weekly illustrated newsletter, and so if you like astrology and you love black cats, you're going to love this newsletter. The link is in the description, and I'll see you in the next video.